Hi everyone, Morella here. Just a short video today is showing you my project, my recent project, and also advising you about some tips on stretching your stamps a little bit. So friends of ours, well, my husband and I mean, recently had a baby boy, and I am still to make a card for them for that occasion. However, they already have a little girl who's not so little anymore. I think she's 7 or 8 by now, probably 6 or 7, somewhere around there anyway. And I thought that since she's already so big and so aware of what is happening, and she would probably also appreciate something like a card for her, I thought that I would also make a card for her when I'm sending the little package to her family, congratulating her on becoming the big sister. So since this was supposed to be a cutesy girly card, I kind of really felt like starting from this one, and then I'm gonna make the baby boy card. And this is what I made. So basically what I really wanted to use was the Greeting Farm set, which is the little fairies. This is a set that I won a few weeks ago, or months ago by now probably, and I really wanted to use it, but I never really got the chance so far, so that was the perfect opportunity to use it. Now, I had in my head that I really wanted to make an interactive card, and preferably kind of like a spinner card like this. First of all, because I've never made one like this, and second of all, because I think that's the whole beauty of handmade cards, that apart from being handmade, they can also be slightly different to what you can buy in shops. And I'm sure there is cards like that somewhere in shops, but you probably don't see them quite often. You know, those kind of cards that are so interactive are not that popular. So I wanted to make something like that. Now, the only problem with those spinner cards is that you either need special stamps for them. There are a few stamp sets like that out there, whereby you can have the front and the back of the image that you can stamp out, and they are perfectly symmetrical, so you can, you know, glue one on top of the other with the thread in between them, and you have like a front of a fairy and a back of the fairy, and or whatever other creature you have. The other way to do the spinner cards is with a symmetrical image, where you have it like I do, that basically on both sides you have the front of the creature, and it just then spins. But so that it looks nicely, it has to be, or at least it should be, symmetrical. Now, I really wanted to use that subset, like I said, and unfortunately none of these images are perfectly symmetrical, even though this one I think is quite close. This one is not bad either, and actually it will probably work the exact same way that I did this fairy, and I'll probably try to do her next, and we'll see. And this one is also pretty symmetrical, and I thought, gee, the only thing that is really different here is that hair bun. So initially what I was thinking was to just kind of block off that hair bun and just give her short hair and just draw a wing there and make it that way symmetrical. If you actually look, I'll just show you quickly. I have that image stamped out here on my whole sheet of different images. So yeah, this is our image here. Like when you turn it, it's pretty close, as you can see. The only thing really that is different here is that bun of the hair, and the rest of it is pretty good. And like I said, I think the other girls will be very similar. Let me see. Yeah, it's the same situation here, and then she'll work the exact same way I did this fairy, so that's actually really fun. It's also just the hair, I think you can see it, that is different, but you'll be able to do the exact same thing I did with that image, which I'll tell you about in a moment. And I think that girl will be pretty close to. Although no, she has already legs on different sides, so that would require a little bit more surgery. One would have to cut out her legs and draw them on the other side, which would probably be already a little bit more complicated, but not impossible for sure. But this little fairy, definitely she'll still work the same way, although she'll have a bit of a mad hairdo, but she'll work perfectly fine. So what I did was I basically stamped this image twice, just like I have them here. I colored them as they were, and then when I fussy cut them, before I glued them together with the thread in between, I basically, on the back of that bun, on both images, I just flipped them, and on the back of that bun, I colored the whole bun with my Copics again, and then I used the Copic multi-liner to kind of just, so you can see here, give that image an outline, and just drew 2 little lines to make it look like some kind of a hairdo. So this little red hair bit here between her head and her wing is basically what I colored on the back of the other image to make it look like it's another bun or a pigtail that is simply tucked behind her wing. And I did this, oh, apologies, my phone is balancing on the lamp and I poked it. And I did the exact same thing here. So again, that little piece here is drawn on the back of this colored image here. And this is what makes it look like she has those two hair buns like this. So I was really pretty impressed and happy with myself that I managed to stretch my stamp like this. And even though it wasn't a perfect symmetrical image, I made it look like one, and nobody would ever know really that it wasn't supposed to be like that. And in fairness, you can see a teeny bit, like up close, you can see that hair bun is kind of lower because obviously it's a layer underneath this image, but it actually really makes it look even more realistic that her hair is tucked behind the wing. I actually love the way it turned out, so I can't wait to try it out with the other girl here as well. I know that her hairdo will be then a bit crazy, but I think it will be quite cute as well. So yeah, that's the one way that I tried to stretch my stamp on this card. Other than that, the card is pretty simple. I think it's nice enough as this. There's a lot of wink of Stella there on the little stars in the background, which are actually on the inside. And there's a bit of wink of Stella as well on her little wings, but I don't know, probably the camera won't really pick it up. I'm sorry, the light here today is really not great. See a little bit of that shimmer now. Now, the other stamps that I use for my sentiment here on top of the card is, these are Concord and 9 stamp sets, and again there are two that I haven't been using much yet because I didn't have the opportunity. And sorry for that. One of them is the Sophisticated Script, and the other one is the Layers of Love stamp set. Probably if I put it up not upside down, that would be better. So this is obviously where I use the Congratulations You Are from, and a big sister I wrote using, or I stamped using the Sophisticated Script. And again, I had a bit of a bummer here when I was making this card because I was making sure that I can fit Big Sister along my panel on the front here. And I was trying to put it so much, I was worried I wouldn't fit it, so I started so much to the left. Then when I finished stamping it, it finished here, and I had a gap here, and I didn't really like the way it looked because it wasn't really nicely centered. So I thought an exclamation mark here would be awesome. However, the set doesn't really come with an exclamation mark, so I was a bit bummed, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to somehow draw one myself. It's surely gonna look bad. And then I looked at the stamp set, and I saw the J, and I thought, oh, if I kind of partially ink it and turn it, it kind of looks like a Sophisticated Script exclamation mark. And so this is what it is. This is my upside down J with a little bit of the ink removed from here. Looking back at it, I probably could have removed even that little loop and just leave it like that, like as a straight line. But actually, yeah, it is a Sophisticated Script, right? So it can be a fancy exclamation mark. So yeah, I think altogether it looks pretty well. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to add something more to that card. Initially, actually, my idea was still to make a little scalloped border around it. But that idea came to me, I wanted to use the same pink cardstock, but that idea came to me after I already stamped it, and that A would kind of be in a way of my scallop here, so I didn't want it to be covered by the scallop. I think it would look worse than the way it looks now. So it's quite simple, but I mean, the spinner effect is the nicest thing bit here, and a bit of glitter and glitz. So I think it's nice enough. The little dancing fairy is nice enough as she is. So I hope this card gave you a bit of an idea of trying to stretch your stamps even when you don't have the exact stamps for what you need them for. Like in this case I needed a symmetrical stamp, but I was adamant I wanted to use the fairies. I have to say I'm actually usually pretty bad myself with kind of thinking outside of box with my stamps. Sometimes I just see the stamps and I go, no, I don't have one that I need exactly the idea that I have in my head. I don't have one, so no, can't use it. This time I decided that I wanted to give it a go and try to make it happen and be able to use it, and hey, it worked, so I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, have a look at your stamp set sometimes and try to use them in the ways but you wouldn't maybe imagine that they can work. I really am happy with my end result. I hope the little big sister will be also happy with the card she gets once I finally post it to her. And yeah, I really love the spinner cards, I have to say. Like, you probably don't see it fully there, but even when it's dance, you just blow on it or poke it at the little fairy is dancing. I think it's really awesome and so cute. So yeah, I'm sure you know how to make a spinner card. If not, there's loads of tutorials out there, but if you'd like me to make a tutorial for you, let me know and I'll try to record it. I'm still battling with this whole recording processes thing. I'm hoping maybe 2017 will be the year for that. Although I keep saying that, but yeah, you know, I'll do my best and I'll try. For now, I just share videos like that. So I hope you have a lovely week ahead of you and still a nice Sunday. I do believe it's Halloween tomorrow, so if for those of you who celebrate Halloween, have a great night tomorrow and enjoy the trick-or-treating. My girlie is still too little for that, so in the next year or two, hopefully we'll go trick-or-treating, which will be equally exciting for her, I think, as it is for me, because we don't do that in Poland. So I've never actually done trick-or-treating before, so it'll be her first time and my first time together, so it'll be super exciting, but not this year yet for sure. So have a great week and take care. Bye bye.